So it's a brilliant title. It certainly grabs the attention, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So obviously we're going to talk about the charity and stuff like that. But sort of from a daily basis, what's it like dealing with your child and stuff like that?
To be honest, it's not as terrible as everybody thinks. It's not easy. Don't get me wrong.
You find ways to.
Yeah. You find ways to deal. You find ways to cope. You know, my missus Danny, she's a credit to my son. You know, she's amazing with him. She does absolutely everything for him, and she's so good and she's got so much self-control with him. You know, she's brilliant. And I'll be honest, even his little sister Lacey, she's a credit to him. You know, she's she's coming up for 8 years old, and she's unreal. You know, the stuff that she'll do for him, she'll help him get dressed, you know, and everything. That's not what a normal 7-year-old should be doing.
No,
but she does it. You know, they're so caring.
It's surprising how that just sort of happens.
Yeah.
You hear that all the time. It goes on. And
but you know, from an everyday, day-to-day sort of basis, it's very routine based, as you probably know yourself. You know.
Yeah, you got to stick to the routine.
You got to stick to a routine. And you know, he's happy with that. He's a content kid anyway. He doesn't kick off or anything.
Does he know you're doing this walk?
Yes.
What has he said?
Well, he understands that we're doing a walk. Every time I go, because obviously with training, you know, we're walking anyway. He seems to think that that's the walk that I'm doing. It's the training part of it. But I think actually when it comes to like the end of the South End Pier, I think he'll probably understand more, you know, about the walk and that. But he's quite immature in his mind, you know, and that he's not like your typical 9-year-old.
As we were talking,
you know,
sometimes they're so clever, but in other areas they're sort of what society considers behind everyone else.
It's correct.
It sounds horrible saying it like that, but that's probably the only way I can really describe it.
It is.
So obviously, going back to your training side of things, how are you training, especially getting you out of the car is always the first one.
Well, Lloyd basically is eating crisps, cakes, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, anything apart from salad.
I'm with you. I can't stand salad. It's too bland. There's no flavour to it. If you start putting all the dressings and stuff on, then it just defeats the object of eating salad.
Yeah, exactly.
So enjoy it.
Yeah.
So how are you training? Obviously, lots of walking.
Yeah, basically
plenty of walking.
Plenty of walking. I'll go to a gym, Newlands gym in Wickford, and do like a bit of boxing and that there, which is good, obviously, for trimming down.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically walking. To be perfectly honest, just like 10 miles a day we're doing, aren't we, in a minute?
Yeah, give or take.
So you're gonna walk in walking boots, or you're gonna go for training?
No, we've got a company that's sponsoring us all our gear, All Sports in
Progress Road.
Down Progress Road. They're sponsoring with all our stuff. They put us on a treadmill and worked out what particular shoes we need and all other bits and pieces.
A lot of support.
Oh, they're brilliant.
Yeah, like pretty much tailor-made trainers, you know.
Yeah, done really well.
So and what else are you doing for your training side of things?
It's pretty much that. It's just looking after ourselves because, when Mark started training, he managed to break his ankle going out on one of his first walks.
How did you do that?
I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure how I done it. I must have gone over somehow, but I was walking around for 2 weeks with a broken ankle. Okay. And when when the missus eventually made me go to hospital to have a look at it, I'd managed to snap it.
And you just carried on walking?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'd carried on for the 2 weeks.
Little sprain or something like that?
Basically.
He didn't let anyone know he was in any sort of pain either. He was really good with it.
You manned up, didn't you?
No.
I may have mentioned it a couple of times, but nothing too drastic.
A lot or a couple of times. Well, it's time to get your own back on him now. Remember the arm behind your back?
The beginning and end of every phone call normally mentions something to do with his ankle and the pain that he was in. It fell on deaf ears.
No pain, no gain.
Exactly.
Stuff like that. So I understand you're going to be on TV as well. I
am. Sunday, me and the family are going to be on a programme called The Hotel. Which is basically a fly-on-the-wall documentary about a hotel in Torquay.
Right.
And the owner's basically become quite a good friend of ours now, Mark, who's helping us out non-stop, you know, with the walk and everything. But yeah, we're on there basically talking about, you know, showing what it's like to go on holiday with a Williams syndrome. You know, and
what time's that on?
At 8 o'clock, Channel 4 on Sunday. You can see us on there.
Tune in for that one. Just quickly, going to wrap up. You've got people can sponsor you and stuff like that. We've got some sponsorship forms here in the studio that people can come in and sign us up. What else can they do?
There's a website you can go on, www.wallysonawalk.com.
Yeah.
We've got a Just Giving page that you can go on to. You can follow us on Twitter at wallysonawalk. We've got a Facebook page that you can join. Yeah, I mean, there's loads of ways that you can come and sponsor. You keep an eye out for the posters and that in certain shops, and they've got sponsorship forms.
Yeah, so have we got a poster at the front?
We gave them one as we came
Yeah.
Well, if you guys give me all the details of like the websites and stuff like that, I'll get it put on the blog later on.
Fantastic.
And it'll be on our website so people can find it and stuff like that.
Brilliant.
When are you actually doing the walk?
20th of March.
So
we
not
set
long.
off.
Not
Yeah.
long.
Not long
So
at all.
when you're back, will you come in and tell us how it went?
Definitely.
I'll give you a
Love
few
to.
days to let your feet recover.
Yeah.
I don't want no smelly feet in the studios.
We're also doing any companies that want to sponsor us or anything, because we're getting quite a lot of media coverage with the walk as well. We're going to get the logos of the companies printed onto our tops, and that's all being done by a local company as well, Equistitch, who are sponsoring us for doing all the printing and that.
Super.
So yeah, any companies that want to sponsor, obviously, you know,
We'll be there
return-
walking billboard.
Yeah, basically.
Walking billboard indeed. Maybe we'll sort out something, see if we can get a phone call from you.
Yeah.
Actually, one day during the
Yeah,
week, just to
definitely.
see how things are
Yeah,
going
yeah.
on. We'll chat off air and we'll sort these things out.
Brilliant.
But guys, thank you very much for coming in. Have you
No
enjoyed
worries.
it?
Yeah, it's been great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck, and we'll catch up.
Thanks very much.
Cheers.
No probs.